We're locked in Sunday, December 7th. It all comes down to this week before the playoffs start. We got some drama to get to. We got some things to talk about. But first of all, I know we missed a couple weeks here, so let's get caught up before we get into the playoff drama. Week 12. So first off, Seattle taking on the Beanbags. Divisional play continues, and Seattle continues their winning ways. 143-124. They snapped a three-game skid against the Bags. Seattle has been unbelievable all year. Wide receivers just couldn't produce for the Bags in this one. JT, Jonathan Taylor, not much for Seattle out of this game, but they post 143, very respectable numbers. Up next, LAFC taking on Bay State. The prediction was LAFC. The result, LAFC 153-149. They got out their 8th win in a close one here against Bay State, and Bay State has to be a little bit upset here. 66% favorites going into this game. They drop it by 4. Whoever lost this game is going to be upset. Just one team had to lose. Moving into the West Division, Yankees and the Pipes. 6-5 Yankees, 5-6 Pipes. Yankees hold the line was the prediction, and that is what happened. 139-125. The Yankees take this one, complete the season sweep against the Pipes. Lamar is still MIA, but Dortch showed out and got slotted in there on the Yankees starting lineup and performed. The Yankees have been pretty volatile. They grab win 7 on the season here, and Shaheed had a half point for the Pipes in this one. That kind of defined this loss for them. Up next, Jabronis 3-8 taking on the West Adams Wolfpack at 5-6. West Adams trying to snap a 4-game losing streak to the Jabronis, and snap it they did in fashion. 201-137. West Adams takes this one, a massive big balls win for the Wolfpack. Josh Allen comes plummeting back to earth after his 6-touchdown performance in a loss. And Gibbs, man, that guy is going absolutely insane. Couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier to see Gibbs doing his thing, going for 55 points against Javi and the Jabronis. Let's look at the East. Turkeys taking on Miami. The prediction here was the Turkeys were going to win close. The result was Miami winning close, 121-119. Turkeys nearly pulled off the upset to keep their slim to none playoff hopes alive in theory, but it looks like a toilet bowl season for the Turkeys. J-Mo, Mark Andrews, Jordan Love all coming up short, while Wilson, who was a waiver ad for Miami, has produced 54 points in 2 weeks for them. Incredible stuff there. Tough luck for the Turkeys to lose this one. It's been that kind of a season. Moving on, Mr. I, 5-6, taking on Studio City, 5-6. The prediction was Mr. I goes for their 6th straight over Studio City, and that is indeed what happened. 150-6. This one was not close. JSN and Wan'Dale Robinson, Mr. I's MVP, leading the way, while Studio City finally seeing the injuries catch up to them a little bit here as they don't break 100. All right, cool. So that's week 12. We're going to jump right into week 13 with a real quick speed run here. All right, so back to the West. Yankees taking down West Adams 144-131. Yankees complete the season sweep of the Wolfpack. This one was tough to take. Nearly the same score as when they met in week 2, 143-144 back then. Moving over, the Jabronis get a win, 154-111. Congrats to Javi and the Jabronis taking down the Pipes. Snap a 4-game losing streak. Playing for pride at this point and heading to the toilet bowl. Pipes have lost 2 in a row and 3 of 4. Over to the Midwest, Seattle continues their winning ways, taking down LAFC 160-138. 32-point performance from Seattle's defense in the NFL, and a -2 performance from DK for the Capybaras. Might be the first wide receiver negative performance this year in the starting lineup that we've seen. Up next, Bags taking down Bay State 110-93. Rough game here. Bay State nearly 25% below their team average in points, while the Bags are about 20% down from theirs. So both teams really not playing to win here, as they turned in a pretty crappy performance on both sides. Bay State losers of 3 or 4 right now, and the Bags snap a 2-game losing streak here themselves. Finally, over in the East, Studio City taking down Miami 114-91. This is a shock result. Champs seem to be running out of steam here as the season rolls on. Studio City keeps finding ways to win. The Studio City Zombies, as they're affectionately known. The Vikings seem to be a major reason for Miami's downturn. They're most heavily invested in that team, giving 33 starts to their players this year. Jefferson really not having a quarterback has been one of the major issues there. Also in the East, Mr. I taking down the Turkeys in a 2-point win. Heartbreak for the Turkeys, 131 to 129. Mr. I takes this one. The Turkeys won 2 of 3 division games to start the year and are 0-2 after beating the Bags in week 11. Mr. I just keeps rolling, looking better and better every week. All right, so that's what's happened since we last spoke. I want to talk really quickly about the playoffs in general before we get into the previews. 6 teams get in. Right now, it looks like we have 3 teams that are going to be in for sure. Seattle, obviously, 11-2 on 2,000 plus points. Yankees, 8-5, 1,760 points. And the Fighting Capybaras. Both the Yankees and Fighting Copies are 8-5. Copies have a few more points. Seeding is going to be kind of shifting, but essentially I think we have 4 teams that are playing for the remaining 3 spots. The Bags, Mr. I, Miami, and the Wolves. Of course, leave it to the NFL to make a little bit of a bye week issue here as we get into the Week 14 preview. Lots of teams missing some of their best players, so that definitely creates a wrinkle. But basically, we've got the Bags, Mr. I, Miami at 7-6, and the Wolves at 6-7. The Wolves have the most points out of the 4 teams. So if these teams end up at 7-7, the Wolves are in. Mr. I and Miami are also playing each other. So if Miami doesn't win, it looks like they will be on the outside looking in. But interesting, the Wolves have to win to have a chance to get in. Miami likely has to win unless the Wolves lose. And then the Bags and Mr. I seem to be in the best position. Hard to tell, but let's get into looking at the matchups ahead. So, final week of division play, final week of the regular season. Everything's on the line to get into the playoffs here. So let's start. Studio City taking on the Turkeys. Studio City 6-7, Turkeys 4-9. Neither team making the playoffs. Both teams will be in the toilet bowl. The Turkeys are 10-4 all time against Studio City, including their last 4. We'll see what happens here in this one. Elsewhere in the East, Mr. I and Miami, the aforementioned big matchup here. Mr. I has won 4 straight games, but they've lost 6 in a row to Miami. They're 3-9 against them all time, so not a great track record going up against Miami. Miami has lost 5 of 6, including the worst score last week in Week 13. Major playoff implications here in this one. Like I said, Miami loses when the West Adams win. It looks like they will be on the outside looking in. Mr. I loses. They either need the Bags or the Wolves to lose in order to get in. That's the way this one shapes up. Over to the Midwest, Seattle taking on Bay State. Not much to see here. Seattle is basically taking a week off, taking a week to try and stay healthy and get prepped for the playoffs. Bay State is heading over to the toilet bowl, hoping to snap a 3-game skid against Seattle. Elsewhere in the Midwest, the Bags 7-6, taking on the Los Angeles Fighting Capybaras 8-5. With a win here, I think the Bags are in. They've lost their last 3, however, to LAFC. And with a loss here for them, it comes down to points. And they are 3rd amongst the 4 teams trying to get in, which would put them in, I believe, depending on where the points net out. So lots to look at in this Bags Copies matchup in the Midwest. Finally, over in the West, Yankees and Jabronis, division winner Yankees taking on the Jabronis, who have had such a hard luck season. Really, really tough season for Javi and the Jabronis. They are 3rd in all play standings, 80-63. That is bananas that they're not even going to make the playoffs. Jabronis are 6-3 all time against the Yankees, so maybe we'll see an upset. I don't think that this will factor in terms of the playoff conversation, although it could affect seeding with a couple teams at 8-6 coming down to points. And finally, the West Adams Wolfpack taking on the Tidewater Golden Pipes. The Wolves took the first matchup by 11 in week 3. They are in a must-win situation here. Some interesting lineup decisions are being made as we speak this morning, but hoping that they can hold off the Pipes and sweep them on the season. Meanwhile, the Pipes, season 1 rounds out as they head to the toilet bowl, and something to build on heading into year 2 of their franchise. So that's the catch-up pod here, guys. I've got a few minutes to try and get this out. It's about 9:30 right now, so it might come out to you a little bit after kickoff on the early window. Hope everyone has a fantastic Sunday. Hope everyone had a fantastic fucking turkey. Really looking forward to the holiday season ahead and getting into the playoffs next week. So enjoy the weekend. Talk to you soon.